Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, All That Jazz. I'm sad today is the last episode of Stranger Things 5. I'm trying to keep it together. However, okay, I do have some last finale predictions, so let's get right into them. Okay, prediction one, which ties into my previous video about Dream Warriors. I think that there will be multiple battles going on at the same time, the biggest one specifically being inside of Vecna's mindscape. We will most definitely see the group versus Vecna, the military versus the group, and ultimately we'll see everyone versus the Mind Flayer. Now, speaking of the Mind Flayer, that is my second prediction. The more I sit and think about it, I've seen a lot of people question why it is that we haven't seen the Mind Flayer. Why does it seem like the show has just forgotten the Mind Flayer? And I honestly feel like that is all on purpose, and we are being misdirected on purpose. And I wouldn't be surprised if all of this time the Mind Flayer has been quietly letting Vecna believe he is really in charge. If you think about it, that's the ultimate manipulation Vecna would never see coming. Vecna thinks he's executing his own plans. Vecna thinks he's the architect. But the gag is the Mind Flayer has been puppeteering Vecna and his plans the entire time. And once the group thinks that they have the upper hand and they're winning, that's when we get this big reveal. That's when we get the Mind Flayer taking its final form. That's where we'll get the vision Nancy saw with all the monsters coming into Hawkins and the giant creature with the gaping mouth. The final battle will be huge, it'll be epic, it'll be physical, it'll be in Hawkins, and it'll be real consequences. Okay, prediction 3. Holly Wheeler will matter, and a lot. We saw Holly struggling with feeling like she's not like Holly the heroic at all. And if you recall, Mike very intentionally explains to Holly that Holly the heroic is a cleric. She can cast protective magic, she can ward against evil, and most importantly, she can open dimension doors. The ability to go anywhere she can visualize. We will get some kind of callback to Max giving Holly the advice that she doesn't need the actual toy Holly the heroic in order for her to be heroic, especially since we saw during the fight the kids break Holly's necklace. That isn't throwaway dialogue. I fully expect to see Holly using those abilities in the finale, whether it's to protect someone, creating an escape, or opening a path no one else can. Holly will play a key role from inside the mindscape, and I wouldn't be surprised if the kids fight from inside as well. They would be Dream Warriors 2.0. Prediction 4. Who's the real spy? Everyone is assuming that the spy is going to be Callie. And I understand she is acting weird, but I fully can't jump on that bandwagon because it feels too easy. To bring back the one character everyone has hated since season 2 just to make her the ultimate big bad, it just feels too simple, like a misdirection. I don't think Callie is the Mind Flayer, but I do think she has her own motives. Now, could she be possibly infected with particles at this time? It's possible, but I honestly still think it's going to be none of that. And I think Callie is just a product of her environment. And it's very possible she could be on Vecna's side solely because of her own shitty experiences in this world. Callie's someone who's been a test subject her whole life, had very little stability, rarely experienced genuine happiness and love. And no, I don't think the group of hers that we met in season 2 was a group built on actual love. So no, you can't expect someone like that to have a hopeful outlook on the world. I can absolutely see Callie agreeing with Vecna's belief that the world is broken beyond saving, not because she's evil, but because that worldview makes sense to her. That makes her dangerous, but that doesn't necessarily make her a spy. And I also just feel Callie being the ultimate bad guy in this story, it has no emotional payoff if you really think about it. We met her in season 2 and then we haven't seen her again until now. So her being the big bad or the final boss, what is that doing for the story? How is that moving the story along? But we do know someone who will give us that emotional payoff, and more importantly, someone who has already been used as a spy before. Byers, the sorcerer. In season 2, he transmitted information to the hive mind without even realizing it. The only way it was stopped was through sedation and an exorcism level purge. The connection was never naturally closed. Even in this season, we also saw Vecna use Will as a spy in order to get Max's location. But what if it didn't end there? What if this finale episode we get to see something that we haven't gotten to see before? The Mind Flayer finally using Will at his full capacity. Ever since episode 5, the show has made something very clear. Will is not a wizard. He's a sorcerer. A wizard learns power. A sorcerer's powers are innate. It comes from within. Now let's go back to episode 1. The scene where Mike is comforting Holly inside the school before he gives her Holly the Heroic. He explains to her that when he has his own moments of feeling scared, he looks to Mike the Brave. And ever since Mike and Holly had this moment, there's been something that has always stuck out to me, and I always thought that in the finale, this was going to be some kind of foreshadowing of what was to come. Mike tells Holly that Mike the Brave goes on these adventures called dungeon crawls, where they enter underground worlds, they fight monsters, and they face evil wizards and sorcerers. Now, what would be more detrimental to the group and more beneficial to Vecna? Making someone who has nothing to do with this group as the main villain, as their traitor, or a traitor being amongst the group, someone who they truly care about, who they truly love, who has been around them from the beginning. And this is why I will now jump on the bandwagon that Callie is the actual Mind Flayer. Byers will be the traitor amongst the group. And if there is one thing that the Duffers has said that has stayed with me since I heard it, in season 2, the original plan for Bob's death was for Will to be possessed and he would be the one killing Bob. I feel like they saved that moment for the finale, for what we are going to see tonight. So be prepared. I have a feeling we are going to see a possessed Will kill someone that he loves. Now this brings me to my next theory. Vecna is altering reality. There are a few moments that feel off the way Stranger Things usually isn't. The Will red flags. When Will Byers says he loves getting malted milkshakes at the Malval's general store and getting lost in the woods, that directly contradicts what we've seen across multiple seasons. We've never once seen Will hanging out at Malval's for milkshakes or Will enjoying the woods. If anything, the woods are trauma coded for him, so that was a red flag to me when I watched that episode back after my first watch. And there are other visual inconsistencies that I noticed as well, and I'm going to point them out to see if I was just the only one or if it's just me nitpicking. Okay, so did anyone else notice that in the Escape from Camazot's episode, when they were at the merry-go-round memory of Henry's, Holly noticed that the merry-go-round was a different color. In the first episode it was yellow, but in his mindscape it was gray. That's one. Number 2, when Jonathan and Nancy were breaking up and he made the comment that he took her pink sweater to the Goodwill. However, did Nancy not have on a whole pink sweater, pink bottoms in the first episode? And even the color on the squawk decibel meter changes. And yes, I understand any of these could be a mistake, but all of them put together start feeling like memory corruption. And if Vecna can control the mind, why wouldn't he start blurring reality too? And lastly, Dr. K and the military. Now, I know Callie told us Dr. K's plan, but something just feels like we're still missing a huge piece. And I feel like that is the prediction that I'm making. Something else will be revealed about Dr. K's connection to this, because it feels deeply personal, especially with 11, even beyond Brenner. She doesn't flinch hearing about Vecna. She doesn't react to all of her soldiers pretty much being massacred by Vecna. She doesn't question none of the supernatural of it all. Her pursuit is strictly find 11. I don't know, I just can't put my finger on it. Something is telling me Dr. K has a deeper connection to all of this, whether it be connection to Brenner, whether it be a personal connection to 11, but there is something that we're going to be revealed as to why she's actually here. And it's going to be even more than just her wanting 11 to continue Brenner's experiments. Oh, and lastly, before I end this video, I want to give my final prediction song. If I had one song to add, just one, that fits the theme, the timing, the kind of finale we're heading into, it would be We're the Dream Warriors. Yes, Dream Warriors by Dokken. It's on the nose, and that's exactly why it works. This finale isn't about monsters or battles. It's about fighting inside the mind, turning fear into strength, using the very thing the monster exploits against him. That's been the storyline since season 1. If there really is a moment where the group fights back from inside the mindscape, where they all band together and start pushing back, Dream Warriors fits that energy perfectly. Not as an emotional closure, not as a montage song, but as a battle anthem. The moment the kids stop being prey and start whooping ass. And that's it. This is the final episode, the end of this story we've been following for close to a decade. Whether the last battle happens in the mind, the upside down, Hawkins, or all three, Stranger Things has always been about the same thing: memory, love, and choosing to fight back when fear is rewriting reality. If Vecna has been manipulating minds, if it turns out to be true that the Mind Flayer is the big boss and was puppeteering this all along, then the only way to end this is to break that connection. I would love to hear what you guys think. Do you agree with my theories? Do you agree that Will more than likely will be the traitor no one is paying attention to? Do you think the Mind Flayer is the final real boss? And what song do you think ends this series? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I will be reading them, and hopefully I can respond to them before we get into the finale tonight. If you've enjoyed this breakdown or any of my other videos, hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you guys so much for being a part of this journey and joining my channel if you have. I can't believe this is literally the last video I'm making before the finale. Until then, guys, stay curious, stay out the upside down, and I'll see you soon.